Good morning, everyone. Behind me, you are looking at the world's largest city of entertainment, Las Vegas.
The Southern Nevada Health District recommends to all Nevadans not to panic about the coronavirus, but to stay alert. Now, there was a lot of topics left behind in this historical meeting. One of them was DACA. But why is DACA so important for the Mexican president? Well, 80% of its recipients are originally from Mexico. Please vote November 3rd. Reporting for Studio G, Ramón Elizondo. Now, if President Trump has sufficient evidence to prove his claims about fraud, he has the right to go to court and challenge the outcome. Election night. And so everybody's talking about Trump, Biden. But we also need to focus on congressional districts and senators. So let's talk about that. Okay, the current Senate is controlled by Republicans, okay? This number right here, those are the seats that stay. They don't go anywhere. These numbers right here are up for election. Oh, but we have Anthony Ramos and
2 minutes out.
I'm going to switch it.
Oh.
Can you put server C, Ramon, please?
Server C?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody is excited about who's going to win these elections, Biden or Trump. As of right now, we have Biden leading the polls, 248 electoral votes. As we speak, these numbers might be changing. We still need to know Nevada, total count votes, 80%, Arizona, 80%, Alaska, 36%, Wisconsin, 97%, Michigan, 92%, Pennsylvania, 80% of the votes has been counted, North Carolina, 96%, Georgia, 93%. We don't know yet who's going to win this election. And this morning, very early in the morning, President Donald Trump declared himself a fictitious victory. No, not yet. In order to become a successful podcast host, you should consider taking or grabbing the technical skills needed to produce your own episodes.
On today's show, we take a look at post-election updates and a number of COVID cases.
We also speak with Donis Hernandez, member of Arriba Las Vegas organization. As you all know, we are in the middle of a pandemic. But as a journalist, we must go where the story is. We don't run away from stories. If you like to get tested, walk-ups at the Street View Pavilion are welcome, and appointments are encouraged, but not required. Appointments can be made online or by calling University Medical Center at 702-383-2619. Who is the best candidate to defeat the coronavirus in this case? Emily Hernandez, 16-year-old. Señor Donis Hernandez. Mr. Donis Hernandez, what are your comments about President Trump trying to deport all immigrants protected under the Temporary Protection Program? So one of my first questions, how is the Mexican government handling the pandemic? As we know, it's ranked in the 4th place with more fatalities worldwide. The race for the White House overheats as Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden stopped in Nevada last week. In Boulder City, Nevada, Mike Pence criticized Biden's police reform policy.
When you suggest that you're going to reduce support for those who serve and protect, you only embolden those who would do harm to our families.
On the other side of the aisle, former Vice President Joe Biden talked about how Donald Trump ignored the coronavirus pandemic.
His reckless personal conduct since his diagnosis, the destabilizing effect it's having on our government is unconscionable. He didn't take the necessary precautions to protect himself or others.
But the one speech that really brought a message of consciousness was from Alejandro Duhart, a dreamer and college graduate who explained how important the Affordable Care Act is in his life.
It is thanks to the Obama-Biden administration and their work to pass the Affordable Care Act that my son can't be denied medical care because of his pre-existing condition.
The former senator for Delaware also reminded the American people that this is a nation of immigrants who contribute with billions of dollars to the economy of the country. But is Joe Biden and his political party really cares about the immigrant community?
Joe Biden and former President Barack Obama did in 2008 presidential campaign. They promised to legalize 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the country. They play games. Instead, they almost deport 2.5 million people, of which almost 65% of them didn't have any criminal records. The only mistake they did was to cross the border to provide a better life for their loved ones.
Reporting for Studio G, Ramón Elizondo. As we approach the winter, the coronavirus in the United States spiked dramatically, reaching more than 267,000 fatalities and over 13 million confirmed cases. Here in Nevada, so far, more than 2,100 people have died of COVID-19. Nevertheless, 2 U.S. pharmaceutical laboratories announced its COVID-19 antigen, and they are ready for the Federal Drug Administration to approve them. According to the New York Times, Pfizer, in association with Germany's BioNTech vaccine developer, will have 50 million doses and Moderna 20 million ready to distribute in the U.S. by the end of 2020. Pfizer antigen has 95% efficacy, and Moderna's rate is 94.5% effectiveness. Both require 2 shots within 3 weeks for Pfizer and 4 weeks apart for Moderna. But the question is, who is going to get immunized first? Well, Jeff King, manager of the Southern Nevada Health District's Office of Public Health Preparedness, has the answer.
Tier 1 group are healthcare workers, first responders, clinicians providing care and services to our most vulnerable populations, which would be nursing homes. The general public is Tier 4.
Despite the increase of COVID-19 cases, for some UNLV students, there is no pandemic that is going to stop them from reaching their academic goals.
Honestly, I have just a little bit left, so I don't mind coming back to school. And honestly, I'm not going to let a virus stop me from living my life and doing what I want to do. So I'm going to come regardless.
Now, it's worth mentioning that none of these vaccines has been tested with children and pregnant women. So there's a lot of work to do. We'll see what happens in the next coming months. Reporting for Studio G, Ramón Elizondo.